Welcome to the Unfiltered Path Podcast, where we explore life's journey without the constraints of filters. In a world saturated with highlight reels, we dive deep into the true essence of individual experiences, offering listeners an uncensored glimpse into our triumphs, struggles, and transformative moments that define us. Our mission is to provide hope, inspire resilience, and remind you that every path, no matter how windy or rocky, can lead us to growth and enlightenment. Join us as we navigate the uncharted territories of truth and to be moved, be inspired, and discover that you're not alone in this unfiltered journey of life. Hello, everyone. My name is Danielle, and I'm one of your co-hosts here today. And I'm the owner of Aerial Jade. I'm an aerialist, which essentially is the bird of the circus, and I teach other people to do it as well. I'm also a comedian and a painter and all-around artist. And I'm here with my co-host.
What's up, everybody? My name is Graham Duval. I'm the owner of Valued Productions. We provide video marketing strategies to help businesses turn strangers into clients using video content and social media. I'm super excited to be joined with my co-host today.
Hey everyone, it's Trinity Baker, mindset coach and motivational speaker. I'm here to talk about all things mindset. I take my clients from survival mode, overwhelmed, chaos, to thrival mode, living lives that they absolutely love and cannot wait to wake up to every single day. And I am so pumped to have our guest here today. Michelle, will you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Francis. I am a residential loan officer. I am a mom of 3 teenagers, a mom of 3 cats, and love yoga and reading.
Love that. What an intro.
Yoga. That's what's
I like
up.
that.
I love yoga too.
Try it a little bit.
Did my yoga this morning.
You guys do yogis?
Yogis.
Yeah.
I want to really be more into yoga. I feel like it has so much benefits. I feel like yoga is a combination of meditation and exercise.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe that's where I head for September. I'm feeling like a little low and a little rut with my daily movement. I'm not feeling good about it. And we've talked about this 100 times before, is like, I need to feel good with my daily movement. I'm not forcing myself to do anything. So maybe yoga's where it's at.
Yeah, I definitely would recommend you give it a try. I just started back after, I'll be honest, the summer off. So I went back this week. I started out with a yin yoga class, which is very low movement, but it's very centering and mindful. And then yesterday and the day before, I took a yoga tone class, which is completely different, right? You're doing the moves, but you're doing them with weights. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go. It was so good to be back. Yeah.
I think yoga itself is a mindset. So that's why I find it interesting, Trinity, that you haven't learned it, but maybe you just needed a lot of space in your life to really digest being a yogi. I do Pilates now because I need something that's strength yoga based now that I'm an aerialist full time, so let's be real, I gotta keep up with this stuff. So I've transitioned to Pilates. However, I was such a yogi. Heated yoga was my reward to myself when I lived in Florida, and it was like torture. It's hard.
Yeah.
What's heated yoga? Is it like
my reward to self.
Yeah, it's in a room that's really warm, almost like a
oh
sauna.
no.
Oh yes. Like take away every toxin out of my body,
Yeah.
please. And
It
I was
is amazing.
Sheila back then, so I was really turned away.
I'm all about the vinyasa, where it's like the breath and the movement at the same exact time. So there's not much like holding. It's just like constant moving and breathing.
I love
that they do certain moves that are to massage the organs. Well, imagine if detoxification's the goal, right? So you're in this heated room and it's intense, so it goes from move to move quite quickly. However, they're doing moves that aren't necessarily I'm going to be stretching my hamstring here. It's not obvious like that at all. It's actually quite strange, and you're like, why am I even doing this? But the people leading know. And it's really with the mind of detoxification. So when you're ready, try heated yoga. I don't even know if they offer it in Maine. Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I go to a studio in Brewer and Bangor area, and they don't this time of year because I think, let's face it, we're all hot anyway. But they do as the fall starts, and definitely in the winter, it's the best. Like we used to do one at like 4 p.m. on winter Sundays, and it was an amazing way to get ready for the week. Like you just go in there, be the last thing you do for the week, or the first thing. It depends on
I've
how
never
you look at
really
it.
done a yoga class. I have a couple times, but like it's not been like a regular thing for me. I'm all about like YouTube or like getting a subscription to a thing, and I just do it every morning.
I think that's
the part about yoga, but to bless yourself with someone critiquing your technique and ensuring that you're doing it correctly on your own time is absolutely valuable. And it also is a little more, if you give it to yourself like once every few months, like having an instructor, I actually I go to Pilates class. Now I teach Pilates in my class and I go to a Pilates class. Like it's just, and I only go like, I don't go every Sunday because I can't, but when I can, like, you know, I give it to myself because even I will like slouch in movement to overcompensate, not because my shoulder might hurt. And she'll be like,
right. I get that. No, that's sweet.
So I've done yoga. I've just never like committed to it. Like I did a class here or there and like, but that was before I was really like into meditation. So the quiet mind and focus on the breathing was not there. So now that I know and I meditate on a daily basis, if not multiple times a day, maybe I will actually love yoga. I love this conversation. So this brings me to a point that like we were just talking about. This time of year is sort of like for a lot of us, for many of us, like this reset in a way. So kiddos just went back to school yesterday for many of us. And then we have like the holiday weekend, which is kind of going to be a little crazy. And then like next week is kind of like that first week of September is like, in my mind, the first week of like that reset. So right now, mentally, I'm preparing in all aspects to reset next week. So this conversation is perfect for me. Yoga is going to be one of the things I implement. Guys, I was literally on the phone yesterday to cancel my gym membership. It was ringing and the lady answered and I was like, hang up.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I did that with my yoga membership because I was so bummed I hadn't used it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no.
Yes.
And so if I had been able to cancel it on the website, I would have been in trouble. But they were like, you have to call. And I was like, okay. And then instead of being able to just click cancel, I clicked what the class schedule was.
I love that, Michelle.
And that's how I ended up realizing that they had a Saturday class. This was Friday night. I had nothing going Saturday morning. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be in that class instead of getting rid of this. So it was completely worth it. And I agree. Yeah. I'm a reset person. I'm a September reset person. And I feel like this was the best way to start that for me, was being really intentional about going back there. And I walked in that studio. This is the thing I think you're missing at your home. I walked in that studio and I immediately felt that because of the way it's set up, because there's never been stress for me in that room, because the people in that room were like, oh my gosh, we haven't seen you all summer. Where have you been? You know, and they like wanted to hug me. And then, you know, so I would, if you can make it to a studio, at least once or twice or once every other week, I would recommend it because it's not just about the movement of yoga. It's about the practicing of the yoga and being all together in that space, all having that same mindset and headspace about it.
I dig that.
I am making business decisions off of YouTube. So I did not do memberships before. And the fact that you guys are paying memberships and not even going, literally, I was kind of narcissistic, kind of thinking that while you were talking. And then I was like, oh my God, I need to make membership.
Yeah, 100%.
I was like, I've been like,
no, you need to do it.
And then now I was like, I have
a membership. I offer my clients a membership after they come off of my entire Ignite Your Life program, right? We do weekly coaching sessions. They get a whole program, 24/5 support. I said 25 for support the other day, and someone's like, okay, so how would you get an extra hour in your day? I'm like, it's mindset.
Exactly. Set up an appointment today.
I have a
I
monthly
make words, I
subscription.
make days.
I make words, I make hours, I make days. It's all a mindset, my friends. This is the power of mindset. But I have my clients all transition into a monthly mindset program where we do monthly calls, and then they continue to get my Monday through Friday support and master classes. And you could do the same thing. I think that that's beautiful. And I hear
And it keeps people committed and
Yep.
valuing the vibe, the people. I put hard work to make sure that atmosphere is always of a certain stature.
yeah.
Like, and it's like I've made hard decisions to maintain that. And so just to hear you guys like really value that's what you go for. And an expert really once a week can do so much with somebody.
Oh yeah.
And then knowing that like summer or vacations happen and knowing that your membership keeps you committed to a goal.
Correct.
So you guys just really like Elma came along and she's been doing it for so long. She was the mentor I needed directly, right? Like I'm an aerialist, she's a dance studio, but the money is very similar. The functions of the business is very similar. So I've learned so much. And that was the one thing I was toggling with because I like that if there was a performance, I can shift my schedule, right? So that gave me that flexibility, but I've become really aware in my business because it's a few years old. So I don't necessarily feel that way anymore, right? Like I've grown. And then I believe that, yeah, you guys just totally helped me.
It's the Planet
There's
Fitness.
kind of where I was transitioning to, and why we're kind of real quick, Graham, why we're resetting as well is you guys, we're at our last quarter of our business. We're business owners.
Boom. That's it. For real.
I think I'm already thinking QuickBooks, what XYZ is looking like, what my next marketing attentions for the winter are gonna be. We're all like, so that tapped in subconsciously on us in August. I know it. I sensed it. I could feel me like looking at my business, like, that's like so not only am I like spring cleaning my house, my kids are going back to school, like all these like kind of forced things, but the business thing is like one of those subconscious kind of behaviors I'm adjusting to currently because it's last quarter.
100%. I was just in a call the other day, and that's what we were talking about is the last quarter of the business. A lot of people around this time, like summer is over. Okay, last push people are gung-ho to ramp it up for the new year, and all that. And I love the membership model. That's such a great idea, Danielle. As like it's the Planet Fitness model. Like that's how they make so much money is like people buy the membership and 90% of the people still have it or they forget they have it. And
well, I'm not sure if I want to dabble on that too much because I'll be at the text. Like, where you at?
Here is my point of view.
You're totally right. And I'm not above having a membership on maybe like an online or
a community.
I've been really looking at writing a book, and I think I have a really unique perception to aerialism, and I finally like found it.
And now that kids are back to school, we actually have like the mental capacity and the quiet space to even think about these things. Like this is the time of year where my creativity just spikes because I can actually think like in my brain without distractions. I love that, Danielle. And here is what I would say about monthly subscription or membership is what I would call it of some sort, right? I don't let my clients off the hook. Fair. Last week of the month, they have a call with me. Like I don't allow them to let themselves off the hook. Like that is what a coach is for, which you are a coach, is to say, hey, what's happening in life right now? Like, how can we navigate that together so that you can make it to class instead of just being where the Planet Fitness is corporation.
They don't mind if you don't come.
Hope that you forget about your membership because then that's less wear and tear on our equipment, right?
It's how they've done so well. I was watching a thing with Alex Hermosi, and he was talking about the whole Planet Fitness model is how they get a bunch of people in, And then there's people like a gym, you know, you say you're going to go work out and then you don't work out, and then people just forget that they have it. And they, same thing with like Netflix or any of those types of things. You get the subscription and you just keep paying on it.
I was shocked the other day. Someone told me that Planet Fitness allows you to bring a friend for free every single time. That's how sure they are that you're not going to use this that much, right?
And we're like one of the lowest like values of membership, like because oh my God. So just recently, like a tip was join a membership gym, like a high class membership gym in one of your areas to meet new people with different mindsets. That was one of the tips. And I was like,
Okay,
interesting.
There's a really high class coach. Her name is Amanda Francis, and she coaches women primarily on how to basically like create wealth and really create like a higher level life for yourself. And that's what she did. So if you read her book, Rich AF, not Amanda Francis, you know what that stands for, is that she literally would join these memberships in like big cities that had like skyrise, like pools and stuff, like literally just to get around those people to see how they live and their mindset and how they like talk and how they order and how they like just interact, because that's what she knew she needed to be modeled for. Because a lot of us don't have those people. Like if you think about your dreams and your desires and your visions, traveling the world, to me at one point seemed very unrealistic because I don't have people in my life that are like that. So I go and follow so many people on social media that travel the world while working their business, and now that's normal to me. I know for sure that one day I'm going to be doing that. 2-3 years ago, that was just like, wow, okay, that's so
that exact strategy is essentially what I do to help with my clients all the time. Like we go, like Facebook is the exact same thing as going to a gym and being around those people, but they have things called Facebook groups. And so you go into these Facebook groups and you can surround yourself and network and message people who are all doing the things that your ideal client wants to do. And so by posting the content in these groups or connecting with people, it's the same exact thing as going to a gym, just on the digital world.
Yeah, I love that. Michelle, tell us a little bit about what you do in the mortgage world and how you got into it.
Yeah, so I have been in the real estate industry for about 18 years. I was a licensed full-time real estate agent for 15 years, and I've been on the mortgage side of things for 4 years. I switched to the lending side because I had 3 teenagers, none of whom were driving, and I was driving everywhere to sell real estate and then everywhere to help my kids. And we lived a half an hour away from their school, and it was just, I was on the road all the time, and I didn't have that balance that I wanted in life. So I was able to switch into the lending side. I knew I wanted to stay in real estate. It's something that I love and have worked in for a long time. Switched into the lending side, and it really allowed me to have a much better ability to be with the kids, to work, to do everything that I needed to do. I can answer my phone while I'm waiting for somebody to get out of soccer practice, answer my phone while I'm waiting to pick somebody up at school. Since then, they all do have licenses and they're all driving themselves now. But it's so rewarding. I mean, if you think about the fundamental things in life and having a safe, warm place that's your home, it just has been something that really is important to me. And I try very, very hard to take as much as possible, let's be honest, stress out of purchasing a home. I talk a lot with my buyers about education, educating them on what's going to happen. I try to do as many of the things behind the scene as I possibly can. So I'm asking them for the least number of things. I just really want to make this a great experience for them. I bought my first home when I was 19, and I thought that was never going to be able to happen. But when I looked back on it, the people that were around me really were what helped make that happen. Sure, there was some part of it that was me, but not very much. And so I really wanted to be able to be that for for other people. So
For people who don't have that, Michelle, I love that. You just like touched on, my mom was a real estate agent for many years, and she connected me with our first lender. And that lender is literally who poured the belief into us that we could be homeowners at 20 and 21. So love that you give people that who don't previously have that connection. Super grateful I did, but I love that you're that person who will pour that belief into these people who you don't need to be a certain age and might think it's even impossible with your finances. Talk to Michelle, see if it's even possible. And to show people that
about at 19.
Yeah, I know, but
not even like a passing,
not even
close. Like I was not around anyone that was trying to tell me to buy a house.
No. I was
my mom taught me how to float checks.
Well, go for a second, Graham. What did you just say?
I was sleeping under bridges when I was 19.
I was pretty close, not as
right.
Not as bad, but it was close, Graham. I was with you.
Oh yeah.
If we think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Former nurse, mindset coach here. Your place to live, a safe place that you can afford, that you're not completely panicked about, is this going to be taken away from you, is so essential. And even if you are in a place of renting, that is still not secure. Right. So
exactly. Yeah, exactly what you're hitting on, Trinity. We talk about a lot, especially when younger buyers come to me, and there's a big difference sometimes between that large number that they can head out shopping with and what that boils down to monthly. Do you really feel comfort? Yes, it's great for me to say, oh, you're qualified for this on paper. I'm not living your shoes and walking your walk. So when I'm telling you what this is going to cost you per month, are you comfortable with that? If that is $500 more than your rent per month, where's that coming from? So a lot of times, especially with those younger buyers, I'll suggest to them, hey, why don't you for the next 3 months pay your rent and then put $500 a month in a savings account? If at the end of those 3 months, you haven't had to dip into that savings, then you'd feel comfortable paying this mortgage. But if every month at the end of the month, you're scared and nervous and don't know how you're going to pay your other bills, this isn't a good idea. And that's okay. Let's look at what you feel comfortable with and what works for you.
What a golden nugget that is.
I know.
I feel like that is like teachable. You really kind of like, so I have my own goals, and in my mind, I just went, wow, this is brilliant. We're all conscious adults. Can we handle this next thing? So that is a brilliant way to self-practice as an adult, or even, to manage your children. Wow, I love that.
Yeah. And I love that that's something you're suggesting, unlike, because like in the mortgage industry, there's people who are trying to sell, the commission, and like, instead of just being like, oh yeah, let's get you in, you know what I mean? You're actually like working with them and helping, guide them through, coaching them through what is going to be the best option for them.
Yeah, I say to them, I want this to be our first transaction together, not our only transaction, not our last transaction. This should be our first transaction together. Your first home purchase should be our first transaction together. And if 3 months down the road, you're cursing my name and wondering why I talked you into this or how I got you into this, like, that's not fun. And I'm not going to be happy about that either.
Right.
It really needs to it really needs to be a safe place for you, a comfortable place for you. And if just walking into your home is stressful because of the cost or any part of it, then not a good situation. And I'm not down with that. So
Mama always said, you need to own your home. Don't allow your home to own you. Right.
Yeah.
Allowing every single penny to go into that payment. And you're so right, because there's so many lenders out there. I'll be like, okay, you're approved for $500,000. But to really have that conversation of, can you afford that? Because that's literally using every penny of your money. Because it doesn't take into consideration the things that aren't on our credit scores, right? So gas, food, like those things don't show up on our debt to income ratio. So I love that you do that for people so that they don't start the first experience owning a home as a negative experience.
Correct. It's always going to be stressful, right? You're taking on probably the largest purchase you're ever going to take on. So don't allow yourself to add to that by also stretching your budget as completely far as you can go. What happens when, as we all know, you need to service the furnace, or you need to put oil in the tank. Like these are, there's always going to be those things. So
that's why I don't own a home.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they're right there.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the whole time you've been talking, I am 39 years old, and there have been a couple moments where I literally had the money in the bank, the credit score matched what I needed to be. I was in a match savings account, so it was super conscious. Like I was going to these meetings, like becoming a homeowner. I was educated. Like I was just all en route, and I literally pivoted to the business.
Yeah, and that's okay. I think everyone's journey.
Yeah. And it wasn't by choice. Let me be clear. Life had to get a little messy. And what happened was I started to pour in myself. I took all of that and just poured into myself. And what's interesting is my purchase would be so different now.
Yeah.
It would still be in alignment with business. It would be a multi-unit. Absolutely.
That's what I want so bad.
Yeah. So I'm still working on a joke about how, in like my dating resume is like, have you purchased a home, your first home buyer's loan yet? Like, how do you ask someone that?
Danielle, I think that touches on exactly what this podcast is about for our listeners, is painting this picture that everyone's path is so different, right? I am 32 years old, I think. And I've owned 3 different homes where every single person's path is different. Every person's path, and there's no right or wrong way. You pivoted to business. The business is what's going to allow you to buy the home that's right for you, which was going to be an investment property. Looking back, I wish I had initially bought an investment property, because I know I'd be set up way differently financially, but no one ever taught me that, right? So like now I know that my next purchase is going to be an investment property. But you're so right, Michelle, like a home is the biggest purchase that many of us will make. Because when I pull up like Credit Karma, like the thing that shows score, and I see that home mortgage, and I'm like, ooh, like, wow, I know I have something to show for it, but that is a big number on there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also traveled. Yeah. I didn't think I was going to have kids. I live in Florida. I traveled more Florida than Maine. Yeah, so I've had what's called location phobia. The multi-unit still serves my phobia.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an actual phobia. I think it's just the word that we all could identify with how strongly I feel. The first lease I ever signed in an apartment was the apartment I got after having my son. And it's interesting because it went by month to month, a year later, and I kept it that way for 5 years. So it wasn't even like I left. But just knowing that, because like I always just have this feeling like my life is going to upgrade like this, because I've been working so hard for so long that it's just like I'm almost always trying to prepare for the magic to happen. And that was something about me. And thankfully I did it that way, because I went to business school. I could have went a whole different route in life, but something told me to be a little more available to kind of learn and go with where I needed to go. But once I had my kids, like I thought, okay, I got the bank job, I got the savings account, I got the credit score, and I had the babies. And then Art was like, are you kidding?
I think it's beautiful.
That's hilarious.
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. You own 3 homes. Like, wow, that is so mature of you.
I sometimes wish I wasn't so mature, Danielle, but no, I think that others around us just show us what's possible, the good and the bad, right? So we can look at the people who are like not learning, not healing, not growing, and we can say, wow, if I stop working so hard and stop focusing on me and my daily routines and all of this personal development, that's what's going to happen. And then we have the other part of like the other people around us, like you were saying, Graham, like surround yourself, go buy those luxury memberships somewhere to get in front of those people who give you hope that that life that's in your dreams is there for a reason. Our imagination, those visions that you feel and that you see, and you're like, wow, that would be really cool. Like they're put in your brain for a reason. That is your future, but you have to believe, and you've got to let go of those doubts and just trust. And you're going to have that higher power trust to know that is possible for you, and just keep putting in that work. Even like you said, Danielle, when it's not like there's no clear sign of exactly what is coming, you still work hard, not knowing where that's coming from or what's going to happen.
I love that. I was listening to something the other day, and I think I remember this correctly, so if I don't, forgive me. But that humans are the only species that like has the ability to imagine. And so that's such a gift to be able to imagine those things. And when you can really focus into that, that's where, like you said, Danielle, that magic happens, whether it's incrementally or like big, we have that ability to like visualize in our head and imagine like, oh, what would it be like to live in that 4-unit and have a family and all this stuff, you know what I mean? And then work towards it, which is so amazing.
I think I've always subconsciously known I'm supposed to be available to everybody, not an area. And I don't know how to explain it. I don't know why I still feel that way. Maybe aerialism isn't even that it, or, maybe it's the podcast. Maybe I don't know what it is, but I've always felt like I need to be available to everybody and not just, that's why I built a traveling business. So there, my phobia again, darn it.
I would encourage you to think about it this way. Replace the everybody word with the universe. I need to be available to the universe, because the universe is really who you're serving, right? It's
that's true. I mean, like, globally, that would actually be more appropriate with what I'm trying
wherever the universe is going to take you. And by the way, you can still be available to everyone in the universe. Owning a home, I'm available to everyone in the universe. And travel, Graham, you same thing.
Oh yeah.
This doesn't mean you can't be available.
Oh, 100%. That's like one of the coolest things is that whole location freedom. That's such a powerful thing. And then, Michelle, you were touching on it earlier of like one of the reasons why you got into the mortgage business is like you get to still help people. You're at soccer practice, still talking to mortgages and things like that, which is so cool.
Absolutely. And it's like the funny part is, and maybe this is something for you too, Danielle, the funny part is when I was selling real estate and actually driving all over the state to sell real estate, I was less available than I was when I focused that, when I focused that down and with my laptop and my cell phone and my notepad, so I was actually less available by moving around so much than I was when I really focused that and really pinpointed one location for the business. And then I was available for so many more things. And so that's just another way to look at it, whether you're planting yourself in a home or planting yourself in a specific business or wherever you're planting yourself. A lot of times it makes you more available because there's less outside trying to come in. So
I love that. I love that. Michelle, if one of our listeners is saying to themselves, okay, I've been really thinking about like they're having their imagination is running and they're like, I want to buy an investment property. I want to buy a home. I want to buy my first home. I want to upgrade, downgrade. What is the first step for them to even start exploring that with you?
Yeah, I think the best first step is let's just have a conversation. I'm available by text and phone, 207-557-9282. I will answer text messages. So absolutely. I'm on Facebook, Michelle Francis. Michelle has one L. So that is a stumbling block sometimes, Michelle Francis.
Okay.
I love having conversations with people. I love the education around it. You could be thinking that you want to buy a house 2 years from now, and you can call me and we can talk about what you're doing right now that puts those steps in place. You could be thinking, I'm standing in a house with a realtor. I want to buy this house. And you can call me and we can make that work as well. But there's no time frame. If you're thinking that this is something you want to do, I'd love to have a conversation and just talk about all the things that you need to think about and things we need to put in place now so that feels comfortable for you when that right home or when that right home for you does come along. So I would absolutely love to have conversations like that.
I love that. And I think it also speaks too to kind of some of the principles, even just like what we do here in this podcast, where like, okay, you it may be 2 years down the road, but what are you doing to like take those actions and take those steps, or surround yourself with people to get there, or whatever the action step is at that time, you're there to kind of help with that. I think that's powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no, again, it's journey to home ownership looks different for everybody, right? Just like everyone's journey is different. This, the journey to home ownership looks different for everybody. And I'm not going to be able to decide when the time is right for you, but I can certainly help you be ready when that is the right time. So I'm happy to do that.
That's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Well, I mean, this has been an absolutely wonderful podcast where, we've got a shift in seasons right now, kind of resetting for this last quarter of the year, going over some mindset stuff and how we all help each other and being available to the universe is such a key piece. And it's our hope here at the Unfiltered Podcast that all our listeners feel that way when they come listen. And so, again, my name is Graham Dubal. I'm the owner of Valued Productions. You can find me online at VALUDproductions.com or at Valued Productions. Happy to have a conversation with anybody as well. And joined with my co-host today.
Hey everyone, Trinity Baker, mindset coach, motivational speaker. I teach everyone how to harness the power of your mindset so that you can live a happy, fulfilling, amazing life, which is what we're all here to do. So I have tons of free resources. Head over to my website, thetrinitybaker.com. Make sure you follow and subscribe to the Unfiltered Path Podcast where you listen to podcasts, and on Facebook and Instagram. Passing it over to my amazing co-host.
Hi everyone, my name is Danielle. I'm the owner of Aerial Jade. I'm a certified aerialist, meaning I am globally recognized as an aerialist, which means I can go anywhere. So I am currently kind of looking for cruise ships, resort stays, what do they call those? Conferences. I think that teaching aerial arts is a great tool to bring people together, especially as co-workers, things of that nature. Before I pass it on to our guests, I do want to say we are coming up to our year mark where we're going to be a year old in October. So I think that too is kind of like bubbling in our bellies. Like we really accomplished something beautiful here, and we're kind of ending our 1 year season with all of you. So it's definitely reflecting our behavior. I'm certainly more lethargic myself. But yeah, so thank you to our visitor for coming. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Well, say bye.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Again, Michelle Francis. I'm residential loan officer with Maine Pro Mortgage, and just really appreciate the opportunity to be here, talk with you guys today. And absolutely, if anybody would just love to even talk about mortgages or cats or yoga or reading, please feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week on the Unfiltered Path Podcast.